2 weeks ago, we had a huge storm. We had 80-mile-an-hour winds come through, and we uprooted a huge blue spruce tree that was in our backyard. It was gigantic. Thankfully, it fell away from the house. It actually, part of it fell over our fence, but miraculously, the decorative vinyl fence that we have, it did not damage that section. There was one right next to it that was standing. We opted to have it removed because if it fell the wrong direction, it would fall on our garage, and we just didn't want to deal with that. Didn't want to deal with a future insurance claim. And the climate that we're in, they're actually not native, and so they just uproot in the windstorms. The whole county, there were ones broken all over people's yards. Unfortunately, I think a lot of property damage. In addition to that, we had a lot of black locust trees that were either dead or dying. We'd been intending to take them out and had tagged a bunch, and then in talking to the guy that we hired, Roger, he told us that the other ones were basically, they were dead and they didn't know it. They had a little growth at the top, but they were basically dead. So we opted to get rid of those two. They brought in some huge equipment and took out probably about 30 trees in a day and chipped it. I'm going to go show you what we have had removed and how things are looking. Here you can see the giant blue spruce that snapped in half in our back pasture that we lost. We're also going to lose a lot of these black locust trees back here. There's some locusts in there with pine trees behind them. And up here, and most of those are dead, and they are going to be going away. And then sadly, the wind just demolished my greenhouse. It wasn't a super expensive greenhouse in the sense that we didn't spend thousands of dollars, but it was still $400 or so, which is still a lot of money. So that was a bummer. It really, as you can tell, is just beyond being salvaged. So we'll build a much more permanent structure, hopefully this spring. This does put a damper in my seed starting plans. Right next to this great big tree right here was the other large tree. And then this area back here, there was a couple trees, one uprooted over the fence out by this bare tree that's there. And then the other one was just snapped over in the pasture. So up here is our pig pen. You can see there's our pond over there. Yes, technically it's not our pond, but we've got use of it. And then here is our pig pen, my husband's bees. We lost some beehives in the storm. Here are some of the pine trees that we have left standing, and they'll look healthy and good and will stay. These ones are not blue spruce. I'm not sure if these ones are western white pine. I'm not real knowledgeable about trees, but we do have western white pine in other areas. But this whole area was full of black locust trees. And while they were pretty, they were very much going to be dying soon. So they're right here by the old pig pen. This is going to get a lot of work this spring and just really get fixed up so that we can have pigs in here again. That is a spring project. So all of this got cleared out. You can see through the trees, there's the house over there. It was amazing watching these just huge equipment come through. It's the same equipment that they use to clear trees when they build new roads through the forest. And they just basically cut the tree at the base, hugged it, and removed it. I'm going to clip that video in after this. So that this area is flat. This didn't have trees. But all the way down here, you can see where the rest of the land was that we cleared out. So this whole, basically in front of this pine, these pines right here, there were locusts this whole way. And we tagged most of them, but there were a few we hadn't. But again, it was just a matter of time before they died. So since we had that equipment out, we had all of these removed, and it looks completely different back here. And then there's this gigantic pile because we had all of the trees chipped. So we will use this in mulch for years to come. It's going to be sticking around for a while, I'm sure. But it just really, really cleared up this landscape. It's kind of wild. So here you can see more of just all of this area that was cleared out. Big tire tracks too, because of course it had been raining a lot in the last few weeks. So everything was very muddy. Now everything's very frozen. The chicken coop thankfully was fine, although we lost the tarp, but no big deal. With this windstorm, really opened up this area back here. It was all full of these black locust trees that, as we've had them come down and taken out, it's amazing how much more space is out here. And we're really feeling that this space could be utilized well. Either a secondary pig pen will get built at some point, not this year, but maybe in 2027. The other thing is that now that this area is so clear and open, we want to have a second garden besides the one by our house. And this area is fairly flat and has water access. And so this could be a really great area that out here where it's flat, we would love to have a high tunnel. And there's some great government programs that significantly help with the cost of those high tunnels. And so having one either out here, potentially out here, although with the trees, we're really going to have to look at the sun because north is this way, and this is east. And so I'm not quite sure, without paying attention to it, how much sun this area will get or if it's just going to be too shaded over. But this other area up here is really clear. It also exposed for us just how much space there is with these trees gone for this pasture. And the goal is to eventually get a grazing animal in this pasture back here. It gave us so much space and really just changed the look of this landscape and opened up the possibilities for us. Having to take out as many trees as we did certainly was unexpected, as was an 80-mile-an-hour windstorm, but we count ourselves as blessed and lucky that not only did we not lose power like so many people in our area, nothing hit our house. Now that we've got those trees down and removed, we are very excited, more than we thought we would be, to have so many wood chips that really are going to give us a lot of landscaping potential. And then all of that extra space around our pig pen is going to give us extra space for gardening and growing extra gourds and things like that for animals to help just reduce some animal feed costs and really just supplement their overall diet for healthy, nutritious meat. So it's been unexpected, but something that we're really grateful for that turned out the way it did. And now we have so much open pasture space. So that is all for today. Thank you for joining us. Please tell me where in the world you're watching from, and stay tuned as we talk about what is coming for 2026 in our next video. Take care.